Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Monday edition of Running Point. Another week has come and gone, and we're ready to go. Anthony Harvick alongside Ty Bartell. And Ty, well, happy Monday. How are we doing?
Doing good, Anthony. I mean, we got D1 playoffs that have started for girls basketball. The rest of the division's going to be starting this week. Boys tournament going to be starting in just this weekend, I believe, too.
This weekend is I think D1,
And then next week for the
week
rest.
is everything else.
It's going to be, we're in full swing. We have new state champions in wrestling that we'll talk about more on Wednesday.
I was about to say, usually we lead off the show with tournament games, that'd be the biggest news. But hey, guess what? State champion wrestling crowned. South Range gets the state championship in Division 3. They wrestled an amazing weekend. They kind of won their first one handily, had to battle through Barnesville, and then they won the last wrestling match of the weekend as well to win a state championship against Milan.
Only the second state championship in entirety of South Range history, correct?
Second team championship.
Yeah, correct.
I think they've had some runners win state and track and whatnot.
Yeah,
it goes to baseball in 17 and maybe 18.
18.
These years kind of melt together.
But that's incredible. 2 championships in a few years for South Range. What a great
and
run.
look at it this way, like in the last, let's say, for 6 years, so like from 2015, they've had 2 boys soccer teams make it to a state championship, 2 softball teams made it to a state championship, football has made it to the state semifinals, and then of course baseball 1 state, wrestling 1 state. So South Range athletics is starting to really be kind of mainstays in these state tournaments.
And you got to figure in football, if there wasn't a certain Kirtland team that was in there.
The one year they made it to the state semis, it was the year Kirtland dropped to 6.
That's right. That is right. You are correct on that.
And they came back up to 5.
But then these last few years, it's just been Kirtland that's just been a door stopper. But no, I mean, South Range program athletically, all kinds of athletics programs looking really good. You mentioned their softball, basketball teams. I mean, they do a great job over there athletics-wise, and wrestling takes home a gold, and it's, hey, another YSN team that was represented in the state championship and came home with one. We always have one every season, it seems like.
Boys soccer has been there twice, and they had, on both sides this year, they had a high school All-American on the girls' side and the boys' side get named to the high school All-American list. So, yeah, it's a wonderful time to be a reader if you're a sports fan.
Yeah, I mean, you get another championship added to your large collection of trophies of all kinds of other ones, but it's a big one now that's added to that trophy case, and one for a wrestling program who knows, it might be one where we start seeing this program become one of the more prestigious ones in the area.
Dave Marcolin is going to join us on Wednesday with Gary to talk about that wrestling state championship.
So excited for that.
Of the South Range wrestling team going to be on with us and Gary on Wednesday. They're also going to have a lot of representation in South Range wrestling on the Power Hour today in the first half an hour. 3 to 3:30, you'll have a bunch of different people from that program going to join the Power Hour, talk with DJ about the state championship.
Anthony Hartwig using his insider's knowledge to get into the South Range program, get that wrestling coach on for Wednesday. No, that's
I'll give props where it's due though. Like Gary got it before I could even do it.
Gary was on wrestling.
Gary got it because it was sectional voting day, and he's like, I was with him anyway, so I was like, oh cool.
That works out great. So great job to our wrestling guy Gary Altizer to bring on one of now the state champion over there.
Like literally, I texted Coach Hively, and I was like, hey, do you think you can put me in contact with your head coach? And then like 20 minutes later, before I even heard back, I was like, Gary was like, I got it. I was like, oh, Gary, I love you, buddy.
Gary's doing good things here for wrestling too, and that's going to be a big interview. I'm so excited for Wednesday. We have a lot of special guests that we have on paper due up this week, and like we said, you never know who's going to show up on Running Point.
Never know. We also, since now that we've done that, we want to talk about. You want to talk about the tournament first, and then go into the whole weekend results?
Yeah, let's go into the tournament games because I believe we only had 3, 4. Something like that. 4, I think.
We also have to talk because we filled out the brackets. We have to talk about how
that's right.
Our whole brackets are doing. By the way, I have the bracket challenge with Quinn where we fill out the whole region bracket. And for those of you that are wondering out there in Ysn Nation, I only have one district that stayed perfect for the sectionals and semifinals.
And so, I'm sure Quinn's got a few.
But Quinn, I don't know. I'll have to ask him when he comes in. My Perry bracket is still perfect. No, wrong bracket. Sorry.
He said no.
No, that's not it. It's
Did you call Boardman versus Kent too, or was
I did. That's one of my ones that I got right. My Medina bracket is perfect right now. So got that going on. But we go to Boardman. They got the 49-46 win over Kent Roosevelt to, I guess, pull off the upset technically. 33 seed beating the 30. Went to Kent to make that trip and made it worth it.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to go out there and drive back home anyway, you might as well come away winners. So, I mean, you make that trip out to Kent Roosevelt, you want to come back to Boardman as winners, and that's what the Lady Spartans did, and that's a good win for the program.
Mackenzie Riccatelli, 22 points in that win. He came up big time in the tournament.
Big time, I'd say. Yeah, 22 points when you're in the 40s and 50s in scoring. Not a bad night at all.
So Boardman advances to play the 2-seeded Glen Oak, I believe they're the Eagles.
Yeah,
Eagles,
I think. Yeah, either Eagles or Golden Eagles.
That'll be on Thursday. You look down at the other bracket, Louisville unfortunately lost a heartbreaker to Hudson at the buzzer, 55-53. It was never a runaway game. I think Hudson's biggest lead was 7 at the very start of the game. They started off on like a 7-point run. Louisville came back. It was back and forth for almost the whole second half. And then Hudson got the ball with 3 seconds left. They got one shot off. It missed, and they were able to actually get an offensive rebound and a putback within 3 seconds to win the game. So it's a tough reminder how much of a gauntlet Division I is. You'll watch that Hudson team and you go, these guys are talented. They're not like this 27 seed would beat a lot of top 5 seeds in Division III. Probably would beat a lot of mid seeds in Division II. I think they would actually compete with some of the top seeds in D2. Like if Hudson played West Branch, I think that would be a competitive game. And they're a 27 seed in Division I.
That's exactly how D1 is, though, boys and girls side. I mean, if you're going to get to the state championship, you have to earn it. You need to have some serious talent and have a serious run in that tournament.
They finished 7th in their conference, but lost twice to the top of the conference, both by 4 points.
I'm not even that surprised, honestly.
They lost to good teams in close games. Hudson. Talking about Hudson. Louisville, what a season. We got the chance to talk to their 4 seniors before the season ended. Those can be found on ysnlive.com if you want to watch them now. We're going to play them on Running Point because that's our due diligence. We already told them they would be on the show. So we're going to play them on Running Point tomorrow. as part of kind of a send off for those seniors. But you can see them on ysnlive.com as well if you want to not wait and see those interviews. The bottom of the bracket, let's see. Cuyahoga Falls won 45-16 to advance. I picked Cuyahoga Falls. You had your bracket. We both did, I think. And the next two, Canfield gets the win 53-18 over Warren Harding. A masterful game from Canfield. Alyssa Dill was her wonderful self. I think scored 18. So Canfield gets the third win over Warren Harding. And, you know, the old adage that it's hard to beat a team 3 times, Canfield threw that right out the window.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, you look at this now, it's just unfortunate because if I'm correct, we're only going to have one team represented in D1 after this next round. So it's Canfield versus Howland. And then we're rooting for whoever comes out of that one.
Are you dismissing Boardman?
Oh, yeah, I forgot Boardman, but they do have that Glen Oak match.
I know, but you're the
Yeah, I mean, I don't count out anything. I completely forgot about Boardman too. Honestly,
go shock the world.
I mean, they could. You never know. But either way, I mean, you're gonna have to meet Hoban, I think, either way. So
not in this bracket.
I know, but you will meet Hoban somewhere down the line.
Well, yeah, at some point. But Howland got the win 58-52. They've really got a big test from Madison. I'm sorry, Madison is the team that I was talking about earlier that was 7th in the conference and lost to the top team in the conference by 4. I mean, Madison plays in a brutal conference. We knew that they were kind of underseeded. A lot of these teams in Division I are underseeded, and they gave Howland a heck of a run. Another reminder that how deep Division I is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's going to be hard to get far in this conference or in this tournament. Absolutely. But able to pull off a victory against a pretty good Madison team in Howland.
Yeah, we go, Canfield Howland round 3 now, set up for a chance to go into the district semifinal. That'll be on Thursday at 7. Noah Ricks is already confirmed to have the call. He's going to have a really fun time. They've played each other twice. They've split. And it's been decided by a combined 3 points.
Yeah, Noah Ricks was unable to get the last one, but he made sure he was on this one. So Howland Tigers get the voice of the Lady Tigers behind them in this one. So a little bit extra home court advantage.
A little extra advantage, yes, I like that. But he'll have to sit in Canfield's.
Yeah, he's gonna have to sit there and be the bad guy, but Noah Rick's gonna have to bring the energy from the Canfield side.
Ty, have you ever had to call a game and be like, it's not going to be super slanted. We say 60-40 when they're home. So have you ever had to call a game where you're slanted towards the team, but you're in the other team's like fan base?
Oh yeah. That's how basketball is at Fitch because we're at the scorers table and we have the away crowd behind us there too. And then what's the other school? There's another school where I sit in the away crowd a lot too. That might be.
Are you on the away side for Camel?
No, I'm on the home side for Camel. Camel gets rocking though.
What side of the court you sat on?
Yeah, I'm on that home side for Camel. I can't think of all the schools too but there's another one I know where I set up in the crowd on the away side, and it might be either Jackson Milton or Western Reserve, and it might be Reserve.
It's Jackson Milton if I'm thinking because I think Jackson Milton we sit up. To like you in the gym, you're sitting with the like up atop of the scores table.
Yeah, something like that. It's either Milton or Reserve. We might be right on it. It's Milton. It's one of those two that you sit in the away side.
We go to the next bracket in Division I, which I am not perfect. Unfortunately,
well, neither am I, Anthony. So that's okay.
Marietta lost 60-56. But I did get Aurora. They won 59-56. Perry won 61-21. They're up, but I missed Nordonia. They lost 48-46. And then Stowe just destroyed their team 69-9. They get the win in that bracket. So we go to that. From that one to the Ravenna bracket where Fitch, they met up with a Canton McKinley team that kind of proved how nuts and crazy and strong the Federal League really is.
Interesting thing too, McKinley I think was a 20 seed coming into this. They have 6 wins on the season. One of them came against number 9 North Canton Hoover, who they're going to face now in North Canton this season. That's just how tough the Federal League is that these teams beat up on each other throughout the season, and McKinley might even beat number 9 North Canton Hoover if they have a good night.
Proven they can do it.
Yeah, they've already done it this season. So, I mean, that shows you those Federal League teams, man, they beat up on each other throughout the season. And if you, like when we say Maslin Jackson getting 14 wins in the Federal League, that was serious playing a Salem team, because when you get 14 wins in that conference, you're doing something right.
Not the game I wanted to highlight as being correct, but I do get a point for that one.
Yeah, you do get the point for that one. Great season, Lady Falcons. A lot to be proud of.
Awesome season, and they're all coming back.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of growth that happened from year 1 to 2 with this.
To talk about that more, once again, stay tuned to the Power Hour, because Jeff Wilson will be on in the second half an hour to kind of talk with DJ about the whole season as a reflective kind of piece, and then talk about what the future kind of brings for Fitch.
Love Jeff Wilson. Love what he's done with that program, and I'm so excited to see what this team can do. I think he's doing great things over there.
I think this is one you got on me, because I picked Ellett, and Ellett lost to Mayfield.
Yeah, I did.
64-45.
Yeah, I got Mayfield facing off against Walsh in the next round. So, yeah, I took Mayfield in this one.
Riverside also got upset 42-38. So that one is one I got wrong, too. Did you have Riverside?
I had Riverside too. Okay. Menor bit me on that one.
And then of course Hoban.
Hoban was a gimme. That's a free.
I think the final score was 75-11, if I'm not mistaken. And then we'll just finish out the bracket. This is the one that I'm 100% in. Normandy won 64-34. They move on to play St. John's. Hathaway Brown won 61-20. They move on. We have Wadsworth winning in overtime, 30-25, barn burner there. John Hay won 66-25. John Hay, and then Medina won 55-14. So that bracket's pristine right now. I'm gonna leave it alone and hope that it stays that way.
Pristine, yeah. We both got some wrong already in D1, Anthony, but. Tournament in full swing for D1. All other girls division start, and boys are going to be right there behind them. We're going to be fully engulfed in playoff basketball before we know it.
Yeah, well, we're going to do another bracket show on Friday where we pick out the boys brackets.
It's going to be exciting. I'm excited for this one too, because same thing. Competition level is so even. It seems like with a lot of these divisions this year, it's going to be fun.
The rest of the state gets into action on Wednesday as those D2, D3, and D4 district tournaments, I should say, but sectional games will kick off on Wednesday. D1 gets back in action on Thursday, so they are staggered a little bit.
Yeah, D1 gets a little bit of time in between too. They're the only ones that play different schedules than the remaining 3 divisions, and I think it's just to keep things staggered too, just to keep things have more games on more days.
That Louisville gym was packed for a Sunday afternoon. I'll tell you that. Like they weren't kidding. You'll hear when we play the senior interviews tomorrow. But they said that they get big crowds for girls basketball, and they loved it. Well, even on a Sunday afternoon, which I imagine it's kind of hard to go out on a Sunday afternoon right after church. Right there, that crowd was rocking both sides really. So props to both communities.
That Louisville community is sports nuts for anything too. I mean, they get out there and they support. They have great followings for all their athletics. So I'm not even surprised that the Leopards packed that gym.
Boys got the big win over Maslin, Washington on Friday as well.
That is a nice win for the boys as they compete with that independent schedule, man. They really try to bolster it up and make sure that they're ready for that tournament.
I think that should take us right into the results from this weekend. And as we get them up, we'll start with Fridays. Go all the way down. And Friday's first game that we have to talk about is South Range getting the 45-36 victory over Niles. The first game South Range played on the weekend. We'll talk about the second one a little bit later. But South Range ends NE8 play with a 6-8 record after starting, I believe, 1-6. So they started to really pick it up. They're starting to put things together, and this Raider team might be a little bit dangerous in the D3 tournament because, like the girls, they play a very heavy D2 schedule going into a D3 district.
And I mean, that's what they needed to do, I think, is just have that kind of competition level for them getting ready for the tournament. And the Raiders are always dangerous, I think, when the tournament starts.
Fairport knocked off Badger 76-64. We see Struthers get the win over Girard. Big one, 68-39.
Yeah,
Struthers kind of put their foot down in the ground a little bit.
Yeah, that is a huge one, too. And it keeps them, I think, at pace now with the other two teams for that conference. Well, actually, no, I think with one team in that conference right now, Jefferson, I believe.
LeBray wins 63-29 over Crestview on Friday night. Big win for the Vikings. We saw Springfield take it to McDonald. This was just kind of years and years of frustration let out with close games with McDonald back and forth. And the Tigers said, this is our year. No more of this messing around. And they win 65-17 over McDonald. I believe that completes their MVAC schedule.
I believe so as well, yes.
We move on to Valley Christian. They get the 53-50 win over United to keep pace with the Wellsville Tigers. Big game for them tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. As Wellsville, oh my goodness, is it ever a big game? UAC is on the line.
So Ursuline gets the win over Mooney on the boys' side, 52-41, and this means that I believe, these teams, Mooney, Ursuline, Boardman, Cheney, it's like they look great one night and then they're just beating up on each other because they'll come out and they'll, Mooney beat Boardman on Tuesday, looks really good, and then they have to play Ursuline, and it's like, well, we're gonna lose to Ursuline. It's what a monster schedule these teams kind of have.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be tough schedules for a lot of these teams that they've played through, but I mean, it's all in hopes to get ready for the tournament.
And we move on to the next score. Canfield gets the win at the buzzer. Ryan Petro calls game 61-58. They win over Howland.
Yeah, I mean, did he ever call game too? He ended it, called ball game.
Almost half court. I want to say it was like quarter court, kind of a heave.
You love it. You love to see it.
We see him on the baseball field doing things, but
he does a lot of things on the
he put on the cape for the hardwood.
Yeah, he's superhero for sure for a night.
Camel had a really hard battle with Newton Falls. They pull it out 55-53.
And like I was saying too, for Camel to get a piece of that MVAC gray tier, they had to go through the team that won it last year and a team that they hadn't played the entire season. I don't care who you are, and like Coach Canarino said on that show last week too, I don't care who you are, going into Newton Falls, it's a tough place to play, especially when they're at home. Just a tough environment to win in. The Tigers always bring a fight.
They have to play them one more time, and we'll see how that one goes as Camel tries to close out that MVAC championship. Did this win give them at least a share? Is that what it was?
Guarantees them a share if they win one of the next. I think they have two or three more conference games, and then if they win one of those, they get the outright.
So you can say MVAC champions for Camel, no matter what.
Yeah.
Now they just don't want to share it.
I believe they got a share with that one. Yep.
The Mooney girls got the win over Ursuline to win the Steel Valley championship for the third straight year. And they got some contributions from everybody. I was texted the in-depth stats from Coach Diorio over the weekend. And I'm going to go over them as soon as I find them. I text message. Oh, there it is. Elena Scavina had 16 points, 8 rebounds. Maria Fire had a double-double with 13 points, 10 rebounds. You had Rotuno with 9 points. Sophie Diorio had 7 points, 6 steals, and 3 rebounds. And then Rouser had 5 points, 9 rebounds. A lot of rebounding strength in Mooney. You're getting almost all your players with at least 7 rebounds in the stat sheet. They won 50-41, and they are the third time consecutive Steel Valley Conference stats. Elena Smith had 18 points for the Irish. Give her 7 rebounds, and Lily Scott had 12.
Yeah, and I mean, rebounding battles are always a big one in the playoffs too. And if Mooney is able to start putting up some serious numbers too, and they're able to win a lot of rebounding battles. That's half the battle too in the postseason. And I can't tell you how many coaches I feel like put enough stress. Or rather, let me rephrase this. I can't tell you how many coaches put so much stress on rebounding, especially in the tournament, in the regular season, of course, but especially in the tournament, and how important that winning that battle is.
Some other finals from Friday night as well. Louisville beat Waterloo 57-47. You were at that game. What do you see from the Rockets? It's hard to kind of 3 games for you on the weekend. I know it's kind of you have to draw back in your memory bank to do the Rockets game.
What I saw too, honestly, I mean, Louisville came out. Their senior Beeson hit 3 triples in that first quarter. Went bang, bang, bang. I mean, he was on fire. But what I saw too, Waterloo they were putting in the upset bid, and they were bidding on it all the way late into the fourth quarter too, before Louisville turned on the afterburners, as I believe it says on our article, and were able to secure that victory. But no, Waterloo was keeping pace with them the whole the whole night. Drew Florida was actually playing a really solid defense on Anthony Lucente, but the biggest thing with the Rockets, 4 different players scoring 10 or more points for Louisville that night. When you get that kind of balance on offense, it's a very tough team to beat. Louisville was able to secure the victory.
Jefferson took it to Poland 66-44. The Falcons, big win over Poland, who I believe they lost to earlier in the season. So they split with the Bulldogs. They keep pace with Struthers.
Now it's a race to see who's going to slip up.
And this is the one where they don't play each other either.
Yeah.
Right? They've already played each other twice.
They've
split. So it's all about who kind of finishes strong, and we'll see where the chips fall.
And that'd be great for Jefferson to hold on and at least get a share of an NE8 title for a Struthers team that has always been really tough to knock off.
Reserve beats Sebring 68-23 on the night Friday. Lisbon beat East Palestine 69-29. Trevor Sifke, again, a great night, 20-plus points. You feel like he's doing that every night.
Yeah, just always putting up big numbers.
Columbiana beats Latonius at 55-34. We already said LeBray. Lakeview beating Hubbard 49-36. Cheney took down East 67-38 big. Garfield takes care of Brookfield by 3, 55-52. We have Middle Ridge beating Jackson Milton 86-60. That's an interesting score. Watch out for Middle Ridge. Look
out for the Rams. They're getting
Jackson Milton came in riding high on that win over Western Reserve on Tuesday. And Middle Ridge, 86 points. What an offensive showing from the Rams.
Stephen Procopio must feel like he's over in Sandusky right now riding this roller coaster with
remember his first
they have highs and they have lows.
His first interview that he did with us is his game preview. He said we can't ride the roller coaster too much.
Yeah.
And they already did. I mean, they went down on Friday, and we'll talk about it later, but they won on Saturday to bounce back. So they're riding that roller coaster hard.
They're so hard to pick because it's the games I've been picking when I think they're going to be down that they're up, and then when I think they're going to be up, they've been down. So.
Alliance beat Salem 57-48. We have Boardman winning the AAC with the win over Harding 65-49. Big win for Boardman after losing on Tuesday to Mooney. There's another team that you can't really figure out.
Spartans, though, come in with the conference title again, and like they always say, too, I mean, until someone knocks us off, we're still here.
Seth Cervello came back in that game from an injury and really played some inspired basketball to help Boardman win the AAC. Harrison Central, they beat Beaver Local 64-54 to round out the scores from Friday night.
Friday night of scores all rounded out for you.
And now we go from Friday all the way to Saturday. Nope, you thought we were done? We'll start with Waterloo Girls. They got the win 45-39 over McDonald. And man, do I have to give McDonald credit. They came into this game. Lucy Wofford not available for the game. And I think a lot of people just saw that and said, well, this is done. Let's give Waterloo the game, get out of here. And McDonald said, not so fast. They played extremely hard, inspired basketball. They got contributions from Grace Constantino. You had Gracie. I remembered her last name because it was Callow, because Bree Callow from last year, the pitcher. Gracie Callow hit a couple of threes. You had a lot from Gabrolchik. they got involved in the offense. This McDonald team, without Lucy Wofford, really, really fought hard. Just couldn't make enough plays down the stretch. Waterloo pulls it out by 6.
Two things I really want to credit for in this McDonald really kind of turnaround in the middle of the season, because if you don't remember, I think they only scored 13 points in a
13.
blowout loss.
They had that before the first quarter was over.
Yeah, and that was to a Waterloo team that just blew them out of the water last time, and now it's only a 6-point game. I don't say this is a bad Waterloo game. I think this is just a good McDonald defense.
Well, yeah. And you have to also remember this was the 3rd game in the week for Waterloo. They are still a 6-man rotation, and it was pretty much 3 games against Springfield, Milton, and McDonald, some of the top 3 teams in the MVAC. So it was a tough league, tough stretch. They got through it, but they have 8 players on the roster. But I mean, you and me both know it's pretty much a 6-man rotation.
Two things I want to credit. First, Coach Tony Matizzi for really doing a great job getting this team on track, getting them to figure out what they need to do. And of course, credit the kids, number 2. I mean, these kids really didn't let that first half of the season define them, and it came out really right after Christmas break. They put their foot down and said, we were at the state championship game last year. Yeah, we don't have the same people here, but this is still a program that was there last year. We can still run.
I know the old adage about ifs and buts, but just imagine if Lucy Wofford was on the floor.
I mean, exactly. You never know. And I mean, Division 4, anybody's ball game. So
talking about their defense played really well too. And Lucy Wofford, as much as she scores for them, is, in my opinion, their best on-ball defender as well. So losing her on defense and still being able to hold a very explosive Waterloo offense to 45 points, that's an incredible defense. What they did really well is they just packed it in and said, okay, Rose and Kara, you're not going to drive on us. You guys are going to have to hit threes to win this game. And because it was their 3rd game in the week, the legs weren't exactly there for the whole game, and the threes just weren't falling.
The thing, too, and what McDonald has, what some of the other teams don't have, they also have some strong physical type players, too, that can play down low in the paint. Not really what a lot of other of these conference opponents that Waterloo scene has, and I don't think McDonald went with that kind of approach last time on defense. I think they kind of manned them up and came out to the perimeter a little more, opened up some lanes to the drive, and I think shutting that down really does help, too, with McDonald.
Remember, last time their defense wasn't a problem. Like, their defense played really well.
No, it did play.
I think that it was 44 last time, something around there. So the defense played almost an identical game. Their offense just went from 13 to 39.
And that's huge, too, to find out ways to score. And that's the thing that always takes a little bit of time to come along, especially when you're utilizing new players, because you can coach players to play defense. Athletes can step in and play defense and play good defense, too. But it takes a little bit of work to get those offensive flows going. But offense is teachable, as Coach Matizzi and McDonald has proven once again.
I was talking to Matizzi before the game. Big guy. Love the dude. He said that this year has kind of rejuvenated his love for coaching, because he has to teach, he has to develop, he has to bring people along, to take people under his wing. He loves the individual stuff. Like, you watch the game, the big picture stuff Coach Kohler kind of takes care of, calling out the plays and stuff. But when someone needs coach up on the sideline, or someone needs to, it's usually Matizzi doing one-on-one stuff. That's the way his practices are, too, at least when I used to go to them. Mike Kohler ran like the team and did the big picture of the practice, but Matizzi was really great one-on-one, just getting people to develop their talents and develop their skills. And then I think this year he's kind of getting to do that again for the first time in a while, because you remember when he was at South Range, he had a really talented team. Not saying that they didn't need to develop, but it was kind of like last year where it was just like, I'm just going to let this team go and hold the reins a little bit, and we're going to go as far as we can. Same with McDonald last year. I mean, he just kind of had to throw them out there. They knew what they were doing. They didn't really need coach that much. I mean, it was the Howard girls. It was Constantino. You know, it was just go do your thing. Go win a state championship. Now I have to actually teach these girls and develop them this year. And he's done that, obviously.
Interesting thing, too, is that's exactly the same thing Coach Miller for Western Reserve has said, too, is that he had to get in and start coaching these girls a little bit, too. And we may see another matchup between McDonald and Western Reserve in the tournament, too. Both great coaches and both doing great things, considering all that Western Reserve and McDonald lost talent-wise from the last year, still having successful seasons, both McDonald and Western Reserve.
Waterloo still has to complete the MVAC slate. They want to be undefeated in the league. They have Mineral Ridge tonight. McDonald in action tonight, too. They have a non-conference matchup with Southeast in Ravenna.
should be a good matchup for McDonald to sharpen their teeth, and Waterloo can close out the slate and win. What would it be then? 19 straight, 18 straight.
19th straight.
It's
And it would-
unbelievable how Waterloo since November 22nd, that was the last time they lost. November 22nd, 2021.
It would complete their MVAC record as undefeated, unblemished, if they were able to just finish the job against Mineral Ridge.
Outright.
So before we move on, we have post-game press conferences from Coach Longenecker and Rose Couch after the game. Couch had 21 points, 17 in the first quarter. It was such a good first quarter tie before we play these. I was like doing some research. I was like, what is Waterloo's record for points in a game? Because 17 in the first, if she continues on that pace, she's going to shatter that.
She throws a Kobe game up there, has like 80 by the fourth. She's putting up 80 points. What would your calls be, Anthony? Anthony would lose his voice, I think, if she just put up 80 points in a game. She Kobe'd it. Who knows?
McDonald made their adjustments, and she scored 4 points the rest of the game. But still, Rose Couch, player of the game. We'll hear from her and Coach right now after their win over McDonald. Anthony Hartley here with Coach Longenecker after Waterloo's win over McDonald, 45-39. Coach, this is your third game this week against all three really tough opponents. You guys grinded this one out. What did it take tonight, or today I should say, to get this win?
Well, what you just said, grind. I thought we played really well in the first quarter for the most part. But then, we went into total grind mode. And credit McDonald, they really played hard. They really got after it defensively. They made us defend. They attacked, and it was a grind.
It seemed like multiple times McDonald was able to switch up their defense a little bit, throw a couple of different things at you. How hard is that when defenses are able to go from a zone to a man to a matchup zone in the span of a game to adjust to?
Yeah, and I think our kids are doing a better job of recognizing when those things happen, but. I just thought I don't know. We were in grind mode today. I don't know what to say. We were, and again, I'm going to credit McDonald for that. We needed to move the ball really well at times, and other times we didn't. And we penetrated well at times, and other times we didn't. So, fortunately, we were able to win.
You made some smart plays down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Talk about this team's basketball IQ and how proud you are of that.
Yeah, and that's something we're growing in. It's something we were just talking about in the locker room. Some of the scenarios that we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks and so forth, and recognizing. So, it's an educational process along the way. This is some uncharted water for some of these kids. So, every day is a learning experience.
You always say next game up, you got Mineral Ridge on Monday to try to complete this MVA season undefeated.
Right.
So talk about that game, the preview it a little bit, and what it's going to take to get the win.
Yeah. Well, like McDonald, Mineral Ridge have been playing better of late. And, so I know, again, we're going to have to go on the road, and we're going to have to bring an A effort to be successful there, because they've been scoring points and defending pretty well.
Coach, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anthony Harvey here with Rose Couch after Waterloo's win here at McDonald. Rose, this was your third game in the week, and they were all against really tough teams. What did it take today to kind of finish out this week strong and get the victory?
We needed a lot of energy for this game because we've had so many games last week. We've just been tired, and I think we just really pulled through on this one.
I mean, you set the tone out of the first quarter, 17 points in that first frame. What was the mentality coming out strong and having energy like that, to start this game?
Our communication.
You have McDonald pushed back a little bit. They made it close. And then you really had to grind this game out the whole time. What were some of the conversations you had in those timeouts to just keep focused and keep grinding out this win?
Our big conversation in our timeouts was staying in front on defense and helping a help side instead of following our players around the court.
We talked to Coach just a little bit ago, and he talked about how much smarter you guys have gotten as basketball players and how much your IQ has been raised over the year. Can you kind of feel that in this team too? Like you're starting to make smart plays down the stretch of games that show the high basketball IQ?
Yeah.
when you look at what do you think for you personally? What do you contribute that to being able to learn the game?
More like I think like my ability to drive and like make sure my feet are right and it wasn't as smart today of my passes, but my passes in the past have been a lot more smarter and just like interpreting and knowing if the defender's going to come out or not.
Monday at Middle Ridge, you have a chance to complete the undefeated season inside the league. What would that mean to this team to complete that and get that win over Middle Ridge?
It would mean a lot to everyone.
And then, I know you don't like to look too far ahead, but tournaments start coming up. How excited are you to play in those tournament games and to get that experience?
I'm so excited.
All right, Rose, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on the win.
Yep.
That was Coach Longenecker and Rose Couts after the Waterloo win over McDonald on Saturday, 45-39. They pull it out by 6.
Carrie English, Rose Cats are a little bit tough to get to break open as far as talking wise, but I tell you what, they're silent assassins on that court too, and we'll get them. We'll get them to break open a little bit more. They're going to be featured as player of the games, I presume, a lot more too. So they just better get used to it.
Yeah, but I think they have a pretty decent class coming up too.
They have a decent amount. I think it's 7th grade that they have a decent amount.
You're right.
I think it's 1 or 2 girls that are coming up next year, but they're returning pretty much everyone from this team this season next year. And Coach Longenecker always, I think he's a very, very good coach, and I don't think he gets talked about nearly enough for what he's been able to do with this program this year. All things considered, did a great job too, and always does a great job too, giving credit where it's due too. Because I think McDonald came out with a phenomenal game plan. They realized what a win would do, and they realized they needed to compete, I think, against this one. And I think if there was one game that McDonald really wanted another matchup against, it was Waterloo, because the Blue Devils were not happy with that first one, and they wanted to prove that they could compete.
Some other scores from the girls' slate on Saturday, regular season. Lisbon gets the 52-46 win over East Palestine. We saw Lakeview get the win over Struthers, 44-30.
Poland,
kind of surprising.
Poland, you better keep your eyes open. Told you.
If Poland looked at that like what?
Coach Haney's getting these girls ready. Maggie Pavlansky's not a pushover. This is not a bad squad.
30.
Get ready, Poland. You just
the Struthers team that Poland lost to.
I'm not saying Coach Blanche won't have these girls ready. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying this Lakeview team's going to come to play. I have a great feeling we're going to see a good game in that matchup.
Coach Blanche over the weekend, all he had to say was anything can happen, period. So I think he knows to not take Lakeview lightly. They've had tournament games in the past against.
They've played a lot of
teams that are streaking early, and
they've played the last few weeks. Lakeview is either won or have been within just that much of so many conference teams. So they're playing conference teams tough.
We saw Ursuline bounce back after the loss to Mooney, and they beat Canton Central Catholic 52-47 to get the win there. Brookfield beat Crestview 53-40. Despite the loss, Crestview freshman Lorraine Gaskins has the new record for blocks in a season in the Crestview program.
She's incredible. I've only seen her once this season, but I am so glad I made that trip down to Crestview to see her, because she's a treat to watch, and only a freshman. Oh my, the next few years watching her play and grow and develop. She's going to be a dominator by the time she's a junior, senior.
Talk about a freshman making an immediate impact. I mean, geez.
They talk about her shot blocking this year. What is she going to do when she's a senior? She has more basketball IQ, more strength, more speed. Oh, my God.
She's coming for that career shot block record.
She's coming for something in that Crestview record book. You better watch out.
You better not cry.
Yeah.
See what I did there? We have Latonia. They got the win over Valley Christian on the girls' side, 43-32. They're starting to build momentum into the tournament as well.
That's an interesting game, because that's a replay. That's the tournament game that Latonia has to play.
And now we go into the boys' scores from Saturday. We go all the way back to the bottom of our social media. And it was Salem getting the win 66-54. They split the weekend. They lost to Alliance on Friday and went and beat Carrollton on Saturday, 66-54.
Yeah, Salem getting some big wins too down the stretch, especially against conference opponents. Of course, everyone it seems like is losing to Alliance this year in that EVC. That boys team is out of this world. But no, Salem beating Marlington, beating West Branch, and now beating Carrollton down the stretch. Some good wins for the Quakes.
We saw Fitch get the win over Sharpsville 58-40. A big win for Fitch. Deshaun Vaughn put on a show.
29 points for the young man, the sophomore in this one too. And Fitch was shooting the lights out. Fun fact for you, Fitch only hit 8 3-pointers in a game. That was their most this season. They hit 9 in the first half. And they cooled off a little bit. They hit 10 all game, but they hit 9 in the first half, and that
So
really
the law of averages kind of applied.
Yeah, it did apply, but that first half was nuts. They were connecting on so many shots, and Sharpsville had 2 guys over 6'5", so they brought the height. Fitch just was able to hit some long-distance shots to make up points.
You had a chance to talk with the head coach and Deshaun Vaughn after the game. They had their post-game press conference, Beamy and Deshaun. Well, let's hear what they had to say after Fitch's 58-40 win over Sharpsville.
Welcome back, everyone, as I am here now with Coach Brian Beanie. Winners tonight of 58-40 over Sharpsville is Fitch as winning coach. And let's just talk about, first and foremost, that first half. I mean, you guys hit 9 3-pointers, more than you guys have hit all season. I mean, how much easier does that make it to coach a game when the kids are just clipping like that?
I mean, basketball is a make or miss game. I mean, sometimes it gets overcomplicated, but the bottom line is you got to be able to score. And, we knew that they were going to play a zone, and we had to shoot them out of it at some point, which they eventually came out of it in the fourth quarter. But, we had tons of looks. I mean, you say we hit, I don't know how many we had for the game, but you could probably tack on 6 or 7 more that we had great looks at and just kind of rimmed around and came out. So, there was a lot more that we kind of left on the table, but, we'll take what we got.
One thing I want to note, too, freshman play looking great, too, down the stretch, too, for these varsity minutes for these 2 freshmen, at least, namely Marcel Finkley and Carter Owens. Carter Owens coming up with 12 points tonight. How have you seen his confidence progress throughout the season? Because it looks like he's a lot more confident taking shots now.
Yeah, I mean, Carter, him and Sherwood are far our best 2 consistent shooters. And Carter's got one of the nicest shots I've seen in years. And when it goes in, it's nothing but net. So he knows he can. More times than not, he's probably the best shooter on the floor, no matter who we play. So he goes out there. He's confident. There's no doubt.
Is there truth to the rumor of 99 out of 100 made free throws?
That is true.
Unbelievable numbers we're seeing from him. But you guys controlled the tempo of this one for once. It wasn't a nail biter down to the final wire. What do you think this kind of win does for confidence before tournament?
Well, I mean, playing a team like this, I knew that it wasn't going to be easy because they had 2 guys 6'5". So that's just a story of our life. I mean, we always got to battle against that. And their number 34 is a nice player. They had 3 returning starters from last year. So we knew it was going to be a handful, but we knew our guards were much better than their guards. It's just a matter of containing the 2 bigs. I want to give props. I thought Cecil Fidrum did a whale of a job. He came in, he brings that energy. He's a tough SOB. I mean, he might be 6'1", but you better be careful because he's in there to get rebounds, and he is strong. So I thought that was his first night extensively for varsity. I thought he brought a lot to the table from a defensive rebounding standpoint. As far as the win, this was the first one all year where with like 2 or 3 minutes to go, we finally got to take a little bit of a break. I mean, from a coaching standpoint, when I say break, I mean just, exhale and say, okay, we got one without it going down to the damn wire all the time. But, moving forward, and we know what we can do. We're a good team. But, there's things we still have to clean up. We got 3 games coming this week. All 3 teams have 2 of the 3 have 2 6'5" guys. So back at that again. And then we have Harding with the athleticism that they'll bring. So it'll be tough. It's going to be a tough week.
Towards the end of the season, after teams kind of know their seeding and they know where their position is in tournaments, if they're out of it in conferences, a lot of people will like to say these are meaningless games. But as we know, coaches will always say there's no such thing as a meaningless game. So what are you looking to really sharpen things up with this team in the final few games of the regular season?
I mean, well, first, there is no meaningless game. Yeah. We don't practice and put all this time in to play anything meaningless. But you're right. You want to clean up some things. Every practice, every game, you strive to get better. So for us, it's number one, rebounds, keeping teams off the boards. I mean, that's first and foremost. Execution wise, clean some things up there. Other than that, it's there's really not a lot that jumps out to us, but rebounding and execution against the zone a little bit better. Even though we got a lot of shots, but we could still have done a little bit better. So those are a couple things.
2 more questions for you, Coach. First and foremost, on the player of the game tonight, Deshaun Vaughn. 29 points is a big night, but 29 points when everyone else is also scoring points and contributing is even bigger. How big was his offensive performance tonight and the outcome of the victory? And what did you like, or what did you see from multiple offensive guys getting points tonight?
Well, I mean, Deshaun has that ability to score, and what I like about him is, even if he's not shooting it well, he still brings other things to the table as far as assists, steals, rebounds. Like he does all of that. So he's not just one dimensional. So I'm not surprised he scored that many. I think everyone, and I told him in the locker room, I thought everyone did well tonight. Not everyone needs to get better, of course, but I think everyone brought something to the table. And we need that, we need that going forward and into tournament. But, I hope Devin's okay. That's going to be a huge loss if it's not. But hopefully when he gets it checked out, he'll be back. But that old mantra, next guy up, we got to keep the next guy up.
We wish the best of health for all of our student athletes, of course, and we will wish the best for Devin Sherwood. Final question for you, Coach. I mean, Tuesday, February 15th, 7 p.m., you guys are going to be in the historic Struthers Fieldhouse. Tough place to play no matter what Struthers is doing that year, but they are a pretty good team. How are you guys going to continue this momentum and try to steal one on the road against Struthers?
I love playing at Struthers. It's by far the best place to play. It's awesome. But they're big. They got 2 6'5" guys, but our guards are more athletic and I think better. It's just keeping them off the boards. I mean, that's the story of the year. So we'll be ready, though.
Of course, you could see that game Tuesday, February 15th, as the Falcons travel to the Wildcats, Struthers Fieldhouse. Again, February 15th. Catch Coach Beanie and all of the Falcons there. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right.
Welcome back, everyone, as I am here now. Player of the game 3 times in 2 sports, once in football, twice in basketball. Now, Deshaun Vaughn Jr., the sophomore, coming up with 29 big points here against Sharpsville, PA, and the Blue Devils. Talk to me, too. It was that first half primarily, 18 points you scored. What was really working for you, and how was your shot feeling first half?
It was feeling really good. We knew we had a game plan coming out to this game that their guards weren't more athletic than ours, and we just came out, took advantage of them, and my team helped me get those first 18 in the first half.
I mean, the senior leadership of this team is always what you look for with any varsity team. But I mean, with you, compare with 2 other freshmen too. You a sophomore, 2 other freshmen that got some significant varsity minutes in both Marcel Finkley as well as Carter Owen. Cecil Fidrum also getting significant playing time tonight too. What did you see from just this younger group of guys, and what do you think this younger group of guys can bring energy wise for the next few years to this Falcons team?
I feel like they could bring a lot to the table. I mean, Carter Owen stepping up like he did in the Howler game, hitting big time threes for us. Even did in this game, hit a couple, had 12 today, just off of shooting the ball. That's what we need. Marcel just bringing that dog in him, the defensiveness part of it, and Cecil just being a grown man on the boards and helping us get those and push on the offensive side.
How confident are you in your shot now as the season has progressed? Because it seems like you're taking a lot more shots and being a lot more aggressive on offense.
I'm more confident in my shot now than I was these past few games. I haven't been really doing anything. I just felt like I needed to prove myself more to what other people think I am and how good I am. So
you also playing as significant time on the football field. You're a varsity starter there, and I mean you got a good spot too as a safety there. You got some significant playing time throughout the entire season. Same here. You're a starter going into basketball. What were some of the biggest things you worked on in the offseason and going into this basketball season that you're really liking seeing out there on the court?
What I really worked on, and you can ask Coach Beanie. I came to the gym and I was just working on going around the chairs and just pull up jumpers. That was my main focus because I really didn't have that. And I seen Todd from last year doing all that. That's where he got his points from.
I mean, with the points you were able to score tonight, another 29, one shy of a 30. I need to know how many of your teammates were giving it to you on the bench afterwards.
After I missed that, they wanted to keep me on the court just to get the 30. I'm pretty upset that I missed that free throw.
Just got to have it come in another game then, right?
Yeah.
You just got to have it come in another game. Speaking of which, before the tournament starts, I know I don't want to talk about it too. Coaches always put a bar on the media from doing that, but I will talk about your next game. It'll be at the Struthers Fieldhouse, and it's a historic place to play too. Just talk to me about your excitement going to Struthers and getting a chance to play the Wildcats here in the regular season.
I feel good going into Struthers because last year I didn't play against them. I was quarantined because we had that quarantine policy for COVID last year, and I've never been at Struthers High School, so I'll be glad to walk in the gym and see it, and just can't wait to play them.
Should be an exciting game as Deshaun Vaughn Jr., player of the game tonight with 29 points. You could catch him and the Falcons, of course, at Struthers Tuesday, February 15th at 7 p.m. Thank you so much, Deshaun.
Deshaun Vaughn and Coach Beanie after the win over Sharpsville for Fitch, 58-40 on Saturday, and 29 points, just one shy of 30. You had to bring it up too.
Yeah, I had to make sure I brought it up because I saw his teammates giving it to him a little bit on the bench as well. But no, really impressive play from the sophomore too. And the one thing I really like about Deshaun is just like you could just see the way he carries himself and the way he speaks and everything. He has that very leadership quality, it seems like, about him too for a younger player. And it's a good guy to have, I think, on both the football field and basketball court for the Falcons for the next couple years.
Some other boys' scores we have here is Heartland Christian and South Range put on a show for the Coaches versus Cancer Night. Whoa, boy, was it a show. 79-76, Heartland wins in overtime. South Range tied up the game with a buzzer beater in regulation with Aiden Leon getting the bucket, and then everything just went chaos everywhere in overtime. Heartland hit some big free throws down the stretch. South Range had a last shot. It wouldn't go in, and that was the game, 79-76. What a game. What a show. What a night, too, because it went way past basketball with all the money that they were able to raise for Coaches versus Cancer. Of course, we all know TJ Irons on the bench for South Range, what he dealt with and what he's still dealing with. So it's a big night that it hits home a little bit for South Range and Heartland. It wasn't just one that was just, let's just do it to do it. It was one that hit home for both those schools. And props to both communities for stepping up and doing all they could to kind of help the cause.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, got to wonder, does that win pay dividends for Heartland in the power rankings? Or
we'll have to see that after we get the recaps and a break.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to see that.
Because we do have the final week of power rankings. This is it. Like this is the last one. Boom. So if you're top, you get to say we're power ranking champions.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you. Garfield boys got the win over Newton Falls, 69-63. So Newton Falls loses two tough ones to good teams in the MVAC.
Yep. Unfortunately, Newton Falls drops them one, but I mean, tough competition for sure.
Liberty got a heck of a battle with Crestview. They were able to pull it out 60-56. That was part of a boys-girls doubleheader with Crestview, where the girls played Brookfield, boys played Liberty. And Liberty kind of spoiled the party.
Exactly. And I mean, if that's a perfect example, another perfect one of how this game can make your head spin, because Camel absolutely outmatched Crestview in their matchup at Crestview. Camel plays Liberty. Liberty keeps it close with Camel. Liberty plays Crestview. Crestview keeps it close with Liberty. It's like this game will make your head spin. But great job by Coach Gates. Great job by Crestview too, as they played a solid game against a very talented Liberty squad.
Jackson Milton bounced back. I remember I said when we talked about their Friday score, they were running the roller coaster already more this weekend. They got the 74-68 win over United to bounce back after their loss to Middle Ridge on Friday. Some other scores around the area as well. On Saturday, Canfield fell to Uniontown Lake 69-45. We have East Liverpool. They won the Buckeye 8 with the OVAC, with the 60-57 win over St. Clairsville. Glen Oak beat up Boardman 59-4. We have Badger bouncing back with the win over Champion 71-55. Salem beats Carrollton. We already said that one. Sorry, 66-54. Rootstown was able to beat Waterloo 56-54 in another thriller between those two, an old school rivalry.
Yep, absolutely.
Orange AFK fell to Gilmore Academy 81-50. Ursuline beat St. Thomas Aquinas 59-36. We have Hudson beat Struthers 62-57. And then Sebring was able to beat Maplewood 49-36 to close out the final scores for boys basketball on Saturday. And then for the girls, just making sure we didn't miss any, South Range beat Niles 51-15. We have, I think that's it. Chalker beat Sebring 54-43. JFK got their 11th win of the season with the 47-42 win over Aquinas. That's 9 more wins than last year. I think they were a 2-win team last year, if I'm not mistaken.
That guarantees a non-losing season too, and then 11 games.
Big win for Warren JFK. And then, of course, the playoff game finals, we've already went over them, but just to reiterate, Ken McKinley beat Fitch 69-29. Boardman beat Kent Roosevelt 49-46. Canfield beat Harding 53-18. And Howland beat Madison 58-52 in the first round of tournament games in Division I. Then, of course, Louisville losing yesterday 55-53 to Hudson.
Yep, and it's unfortunate, but I mean, that's just the wild world of basketball.
Take a deep breath. Those were a lot of recaps. And while you're taking the breath, hold it for a little bit. We'll be back after this break brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Don't go anywhere.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Hello, welcome back to a Monday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as he slides in with perfect timing, as always. Ty, you brought it up a little bit. What do these wins have to do with the power rankings, and how will they affect the final week of the power rankings? And I guess we're about to find out, because this week, the last week, the winners of the power rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina. Once again, Armidas Kachina is absolutely perfect for your graduation party or any other outdoor event. They have great food, including their unique famous stuffed hot peppers, delicious. I am ruining this reader. Delicious chicken sandwiches and more. They can even bring your music. Can even bring music to your party to turn your party into a party, because you got to fight for your right to party. Okay. Visit armidaskachina.com. Call them at 330-787-1932. That number again, 330-787-1932. Or you can also visit them on Facebook. We love our friends at Armidas Kachina. We thank them for bringing this power rankings here to this basketball season. And without further ado, here's the final week of the power rankings, brought to you once again by Armidas Kachina.
This week's Power Rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina, perfect for your graduation party. If you're looking to make a splash this graduation season, make sure you book Armidas Kachina at armidaskachina.com. Final week of the Power Rankings, and here we go. Salem finishes atop the board with a 16-4 record. Howland climbs up one to take over that 2 spot at 18-6. West Branch falls one, 17-5. Louisville finishes their season at 15-7 in our 4 spot. Then it's Waterloo climbing the charts from number 7 to number 5. Canfield also climbing now, 16-6 at the number 6 slot. Then you've got Poland, Liberty, Springfield, and Garfield rounding out the bunch. So let's take a look at the boys now in the final week. Camel Memorial clinches their top spot for the rest of the year with a final record of 19-1, followed up by the Springfield Tigers, 20-0 in the 2 spot. East Liverpool slips one down to 3 at 17-4. Louisville, with a couple of impressive victories, find themselves in the 4 slot. Cheney makes a big jump from number 9 to number 5 at 13-7. Heartland Christian, highest they've been so far, from 7 to 6. Liberty down to number 7 at 15-5. Louisville still impressive at number 8. Carter Mooney back on the board, and Boardman finishes in the top 10. The Power Rankings brought to you as always by Armidas Kachina. Make sure you get your graduation party booked now.
You're a DJ. You better book that graduation party now because it's February. You got a couple of months left. I mean, I know
It'll be
hard
here
to
before
think
you
about.
know it.
It's hard to think about. You never want these senior seasons to end, but man, they're coming down really
Basketball
quick.
season's already at the tail end right now. I can't believe it, too. We're going to be softball and baseball before we know it.
That's what I hated about. Like, I went to the game on Sunday to support Louisville and to take pictures, and I hate seeing senior seasons end, especially seniors that have been committed to the cause and have put everything into everything. And this is the finality of tournament time is kind of what makes it so bittersweet.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, got to cover some great teams this season, and we still got some basketball games left. So
All right,
I'm just holding out to the end.
Let's pull up these polls and talk about them a little bit. The final power ranking polls start with the girls as always. Salem ends this season as the number one team in the power rankings tie. What do you think about it? Do you think it should be Salem? Do you have other qualms? Do you have other arguments? Or do you think Salem deserves to be that top spot?
I mean, I think they're in a group that is deserving to be in that top spot. Absolutely. I mean, like I've said all season, the top it's tough. I mean, I definitely would put Salem over West Branch just considering the wins over them. I mean, Howland definitely could be in that top spot. I think there's arguments for Louisville dropping some games. I think I don't know. You could make an argument for, but I feel like they're in the right spot too. But I really feel like the biggest argument there is Salem and Howland, and I feel like they're interchangeable there at that one spot. But voters went Salem, and you know what? I don't have too many qualms with it.
They really are because I mean, you could say, "Oh, Salem lost this week. How are they going to be number? How are they going to stay number one?" Then you have to look to who they lost to.
Yeah, it's Massillon
Jackson, and they're the 4 seed in Division One. And we all saw this weekend how deep Division One is. So if you're a 4 seed in Division One, then oh my word, you must be pretty dang good. And yes, Salem lost to them, and we're going to see if Howland wins against Canfield, they'll be matched up probably with Massillon Jackson. Can't say that for sure. Massillon Jackson has to play Cuyahoga Falls. No, am I right with that? Is that who they're matched up with? No, I'm gonna look. Yeah, Cuyahoga Falls. I was right. So hey, if Howland goes and beats Jackson and gets to a district championship, if they do that, then props to them. They can just kind of say, hey, that's a notch in our belt. But right now, we don't know how that matchup would go. So I think we have to keep Salem at number one. I think they've earned it. They have broke the program record for points given up per game this year. They have finished the regular season at 31.8 points allowed per. It breaks the record by a even point. The last record was 32.8, and now the record is 31.8. This year's team does it. Sarah Hamilton was on the team that did it in 2004. Now she coaches the team that does it here in 2021.
Yeah. And I mean, props to Salem for grabbing that number one spot. Waterloo, you get to say you were in the top 5 too.
Yeah, look at Waterloo. People were waiting for maybe the big week, beating Springfield, beating Jackson Milton, and then beating McDonald. They said, "Okay, that's enough. We believe in Waterloo now."
As Waterloo secures a top 5 spot, and good for the Lady Vikings too, getting some more nods. Canfield jumping a little bit too, and I think that win against Howland did do a lot to prove them too. I'm really all right with this entire list.
Canfield had an opportunity to jump further, but they lost to Louisville on Monday. Like, imagine if they would have beaten Louisville and Poland in the same week. You could argue that they should be in the top 3. That didn't work out, so they get in the top 6. Liberty is the tough luck. They're the tough luck loser. They're the tough luck loser. They're the only 1 seed in this whole list. They're a 1 seed in Division 3, and they're number 8 in the power rankings. But it's just because look at all those teams in front of them in the weeks they've had.
No, but I mean that's tough for Liberty being a 19-1 team and running that gauntlet, that grades here. I mean it's hard. It's tough luck for Liberty. I mean,
one tough loss to Brookfield separated them from probably staying. I don't know if you move them from number 1 if they keep winning and they're undefeated.
6, 7, and 8, though, I feel like are interchangeable because I feel like you could have kept Liberty at 6 and went Canfield 7, Poland 8. But I mean, Poland also has a tough break, dropping from 5 to 7.
Yeah, but Poland had a rough week because they lost to Howland and Canfield. I know those are 2 power ranked teams, but you still lost those games. I wouldn't have been too upset if Poland was the one that got moved a little bit further down. But people obviously thinking Poland still a better schedule than Liberty is enough to keep them ahead of them.
Yeah, but that gray tier, the MVAC, is tough in itself, and Liberty ran through it pretty well. But hey, props to all 10 teams that made it on the final list.
Liberty, all you have to do to stick it to us is just go win a district championship.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
this at the end of the day, we have fun with it, and it's a debate topic. But congratulations to all 10 teams that made it on the power rankings. You are what our group of experts believe are the 10 best teams in our coverage map going into the end of the season, and I think well deserving.
I'm so happy for Waterloo getting some respect in the last poll.
I am happy for Waterloo too. I'm happy that Waterloo went from a team that wasn't even on this list until later in the season, and they kind of just kept on winning and stayed on the list and started getting more attention too. I definitely think the second win versus Springfield, and like you said, Anthony, that big week too was enough too to winning the outright MVAC championship too. I think got him some respect.
How about this? Springfield, the only Division 4 team to get on the list. Everyone else is the D3, D2, or D1.
Yeah, and you know what? Props to Springfield for still getting on the list too. 17-4, great season, and those losses coming to some good teams.
They are the 2 seed in Division 4, and they will await their fate in the districts. Garfield staying in there, and I think it's because out of the bottom 3 teams after Liberty, Champion, Brookfield, Garfield, it's kind of a toss up of who you want.
Yeah, like Champion and Brookfield are 11 and 12, and I think you could interchange any 3 of those teams for number 10.
Garfield got a win over Division 1 Nordonia. That's kind of boosting them a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Brookfield lost twice last week to Champion.
And Anthony, you and I kind of broke it down for everyone last week when we said too, with all these matchups too, with Brookfield, Liberty, Garfield, Champion, and that MVAC, out of all those teams, discount Liberty, out of Champion, Brookfield, and Garfield, out of all those teams, who has the best chance against one another, matchup wise? And I think we both agreed that Garfield. I think just the most complete team versus Brookfield versus Champion. That it's not a matchup thing. They were close. Every game that they've played against, and Liberty too, that they've played against this season were close games.
You hate to say it, but sometimes respect from what the program is goes a little bit into voting too. I mean, Garfield, of course, won last year's district. They are reigning regional, qualifiers. Their program has done a lot. Obviously, Coach Gilbert with 250 wins. So sometimes respect for what your program has done in the past gets you some recognition in the voting too.
And you know what? Every single team on this girls list has 15 or more victories. And I mean, I think that's really good to see on this list, especially too, to see that every team has won. Winning 15 games in a season is not an easy thing to do when you're playing 20.
For example, when we do softball power rankings, no matter what, it's going to be hard to not see Champion in the top 10. Just because of what they've done. I mean, it's just going to be really hard to say that they're not, because they might have, because last year, remember, they didn't have a great record because they went out and they played a schedule that being 3-time state champions kind of attracts, and they took their lumps. But it's going to be hard to keep them out of the top 10. I mean, it's this respect for your program goes into voting too sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, especially props to Howland getting their first season under us as basketball coverage and ranked number 2 in the girls' side too for the final power ranking.
From girls to, not me, boys. Campbell earns the 1 spot. They stayed there for the last several weeks and they finished the power rankings up at number 1. You see Springfield jumping East Liverpool. That's tough. East Liverpool got the 1 loss this week, but they did win the OVAC with the win over St. Clairsville over the weekend. Springfield, though, still unblemished. They haven't slipped up one bit. Louisville, they're staying right where they are. You got
Cheney
making a jump, and I think people just kind of said, heck with it. Cheney's still a really good basketball team. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that one's an odd one too. Immediately from this list, the one thing that kind of jumps out to me, no NE8 teams. And I was expecting to see either Jefferson or Struthers get a nod that are at the tops of that NE8 because that's still a tough conference over there.
And
as
Struthers
well.
had their Struthers was in it once for 1 week.
Yeah, Jefferson never in it.
Jefferson was in there for 1 week, I think.
Or they might Jefferson. You might
I
have.
think Jefferson got in after they like destroyed South Range. They were like,
Yep.
"Oh, okay."
That might have been right. Yeah,
But
yeah.
Struthers lost to Glen Oak. No, who they lose to on Saturday? I just did the finals. Oh, these are just escaping me. They just played Saturday and they lost 62-57. Who is it to? Hold on.
I think it was
Hudson. They lost to Hudson 62-57.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a Division I team for Struthers. So, take that loss with a grain of salt. But yeah, that's an interesting point. No any teams here in the power rankings.
Yeah, and I mean that's the only.
Unlike the girls, you see a couple of small teams. You see Heartland in Division 4, Lowville in Division 4. So not dominated completely by bigger opponents. And then Springfield, they're Division 3 in boys, but a small Division 3.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, it was kind of tough. You could see with the bottom of the list, it feels like with the boys, because I mean, you see some 11-win teams getting in there, some 13-win teams. A lot of teams in the boys' side are kind of even keel, though. They're right around the same. It feels like with a lot of these. But like I said, the only thing I would have done is probably throw an NE8 team in there, because I think it's a good enough conference that it deserves respect if you're at the tops of it. But I mean, I'm all right with these teams too. I'm all right with Camel being number 1. I think they've played. I mean, they've beaten number 5 on here. They've beaten number 7 on here. So I mean, playing some tough competition. And
okay, Ty, but devil's advocate, if you put an NE8 team in here, who do you take out to replace them?
I mean, if I'm looking at it,
you're not afraid to be the bad guy, so come on.
I feel like you could take out. I mean, for any of the other teams that are there, 8 through 10, I think you could maybe not Lowville. I think you could take out 9 or 10 though. I think you could go Mooney or Boardman and put NE8 in there.
So you think like a Struthers would beat Mooney and Boardman, or?
I think if you matched up Struthers with Mooney, and I think if you matched up Jefferson with Mooney, you'd see good games for sure.
No disrespect, but Lowville would be the first one I'd look at and be like, can they beat a Jefferson?
I was thinking about that too. I just tried to give them respect with the 16 wins, but I mean, you might be right too, Anthony. I feel like it's the bottom of the list that you could question in and put maybe one of those NE8 teams in. I just feel like I said, I just feel like that NE8 was still a tough conference, and being at the tops of it still deserves a little bit of respect.
I mean, once again, devil's advocate. This is not like. But Heartland Christian sitting there at this, to your point, it's about the NE8. They're sitting there at 6, and they beat a 6-8 NE8 team by 2 in overtime. So you wonder like what the bottom of that list would do against some of the NE8 teams that are at the top of the league.
You're correct, and I mean it's a tough conference, but hey, we leave the voters up to it, and everyone has their different vote. Everyone ranks differently, and this is what we have for the top 10. Like I said, I agree with a lot of the spots on here though too. I think Springfield being in the top 3 is well deserving. If you've never been beaten, they never over here.
Never.
They got no losses on there, so
we might see a Springfield Camel matchup at some point.
That'd be a really fun match.
I really would love. I mean, it's not going to happen, but I would love a Camel East Liverpool.
Oh, that would have been a fantastic matchup for it to happen. I would have loved to see that as well.
If like YSN could schedule games, be like, hey, let's just have these power ranked.
We want the top 10 to all face each other somehow.
We would go to the girls and we'd be like, hey, Liberty, let's go play Salem and West Branch in Poland to see how you are. And then we'd tell East Liverpool, go play Camel.
Oh man, that would have been a great match. Those would have been great matchups.
Oh man, power ranking is the last week.
Hey, the way you get to see it though, we might be seeing that with the All-Star game. You never know.
I know.
There's going to be great matchups that you'll see.
Like you look at these teams and some of the players that are going to be represented. Every team in the YSN family going to be represented in that All-Star game.
I'm so excited for that.
You're going to see some really good mixtures of people on the same team.
I can't wait for that. Mark your calendars. I already have made sure that I'm going to be there. It's going to be so fun.
It'll be your first trip to South Range too.
Yep, I get to experience my first trip to South Range and get to be there to see some of the area's
I'll
best.
show you around.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be
I'll show you
cool.
where my name is.
Yeah, Anthony wants to just.
That's
I
me.
represent
That's
your school.
Oh, I lost my train of thought with that joke. I shouldn't have done that. Well, yeah, tomorrow we're gonna go over the winners of the big dogs of the valley, and then not the final week, but now we'll have the Baird Brothers. The next thing to look at is the players of the year for big dogs.
That's always exciting too to see who comes away. Those are big votes too.
That's
Big.
that's where all your winners get put into a poll. So if you win Baird Brothers Big Dog any week, you automatically get yourself nominated for Player of the Year. So all those top vote getters get put in one poll. The votes get nuts, and we love to see it.
Yeah, it does get nuts, and it's always tough to beat Beaver Local. So come prepared.
We'll see if someone did it this week. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah,
votes are still being tallied. The voting is closed, but we haven't calculated the winner yet. But we'll see because we had a Beaver Local girl in the nominations, and we'll have to see if they reign supreme or if someone knocked off the what do you want to call them, the sheriffs of Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley voting.
The sheriffs.
Sheriffs.
The sheriffs.
I tell you what, Sheriff, you got to do something about these bandits.
These beavers.
These beavers are just they are killing me.
Building up a damn wall.
Building up a wall over there. Damn wall. That's good. That's good. On that note of that joke, I think we should end on a high note on our break and take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the games that are happening tonight. A lot of games, YSN teams leaving the YSN Nation to go out and play some non-conference games before tournament, and we'll talk about it on Running Point after this break, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
online,
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
on social media, and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sugman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
Hello, welcome back to. I said hello like I'm talking on the phone. What is this Monday? What has it done to me, Ty? Ty Bartel, Anthony Hartwig with you on a Monday that we have some games to kind of bring up. It's kind of different. There are some makeup games that are being scheduled today, so want to make sure that everyone's personal schedule is lined up with what we have been updated. West Branch will be playing boys. We'll be playing at Minerva tonight. This is a makeup game for an ABC matchup. So West Branch boys at Minerva. For the girls, we have McDonald. They are going to be traveling to Southeast tonight to kind of tune up before tournament time. We have, Latonia traveling to Wellsville. Monville is going to be at Newton Falls tonight. And Monville, they're a monster in Division 4. By the way, if you don't know, I know they're not in our districts.
Monster.
So we don't have to deal with them yet. But they are just like, if you haven't seen them play basketball, you should probably head to Newton Falls and see them play basketball.
Watch them. They're monsters.
They're monsters. Beaver Local hosts Edison tonight, 7 o'clock tip there. We have Badger. They're going to be traveling to Ashtabula St. John. And I think that is it. Waterloo will be at Middle Ridge. Can't forget that one, to try to complete their MVAC conference schedule.
Yep, and that should be interesting to see this entire week play out.
And then tomorrow, a makeup for girls basketball is Jackson Milton will be playing at Lisbon tomorrow. Don't forget about that. And then we'll have the normal boys basketball slate tomorrow as their regular season has their last week. So a lot of boys basketball games tomorrow. Right now, as far as the network goes, the school will take care of that Newton Falls game at Lawtonville. We'll have Eric Hughes and Middle Ridge for Waterloo. So at least 2 games on the network tonight.
Yeah, and Eric Hughes making the trip out to Mineral Ridge to get to see that final girls matchup in the Scarlet Division for that one, as well as we'll have McDonald not playing conference-wise, but they will be playing tonight.
Yeah, at Southeast they'll be playing. And then once again, West Branch boys, they have a makeup at Minerva. And you have Wellsville hosting Latonia tonight as well in the EOAC on the girls' side.
Yep, and games we're going to have to pick too, Anthony.
I know, we're going to have to pick because every pick counts, right?
Yep, absolutely, especially down the stretch for you too.
What's the score? I forgot. We didn't tally up the weekend.
No, we didn't.
We didn't even tally up. We are so lost.
We didn't even tally up what we did this weekend.
Holy smokes.
Where did we split, though? Did we have a decent amount of splits?
I think we split on 6.
I think so. We're going to have to go through these matchups.
Hold on. I know. Let's see. This is yesterday, Saturday. It's going to be wild when we start to pick softball, baseball. We have to pick like double headers. We have to keep track of all these cancellations and reschedulings and geez. Okay. From now on, we're writing this stuff down, Ty. Because I don't remember what we split on. It was a long time ago.
I gotta hold on. Let me double check it real quick.
Did you write it down? Because you usually do.
I let me double check the games real quick. I think I can figure it out. Let me see real quick. You're right. I think we split on a decent amount. We split on the Mooney and Ursuline one. We split on the boys, I think. Right?
I took Mooney, you took Ursuline, so you got that one.
Yeah, I got Ursuline, so that's one. Let's see. We split on any other boys ones. Garfield at Brookville, no. Louisville, Waterloo. I think Louisville at Waterloo. Did we split on that?
No, because I wouldn't have taken Waterloo unless you did.
That's what I'm saying. Did I take Waterloo? So you might have gotten one on that. I think you got one on that. Let me see. I don't think Poland at Jefferson. Did we split on that, or did we both take Jefferson?
We both took Jefferson on that one.
Okay.
And then on the Saturday, obviously, we split on the tournament game. Can't make any fits.
Yeah, you got that one. Let's see. You didn't. We both took Heartland, I think, right? Or did you take South Range in that one?
No, we both took Heartland.
Okay, we both.
I didn't. I was blown away that game was as good as it was. To be honest. Well, actually, I was blown away that it was as good as it was, and it was high scoring. Because I thought if South Range is going to win, they're going to have a great defensive day. They found ways to score.
All right, and I don't know if did we split on Waterloo at McDonald, or no?
No.
Okay. Brookfield at Crestview. Did we split on that one or no? I don't think so.
I think we split on Salem and Carrollton, though.
We might have split on that one.
I think we took Carrollton.
I think I might have. I don't know if we split on 6. It might have only been 4 then. Just looking at the games, I don't remember how many we would have split on or how many you would have
We
split.
apologize for seeming unorganized and terrible. We usually write the stuff down, obviously. Friday, we just forgot with all the brackets that we were filling out. But to our recollection, that means 3-1 me.
Yes. And that means you.
I'm only down by 17 now. Yes.
Yeah. You
remember the night before you took me to Chinatown.
Yeah.
You won 5 out of 6 the night before on Thursday.
Well, you closed the gap a little bit down to 17. And like I said for softball, baseball, when our picks, if we split for pure chaos, extra points for how many runs we split by. So if we split in the winner,
pick scores too.
Well, not scores, but we just by points. So if we split on the game and the team wins by 4, you get 4 points for that game.
Oh my god,
pure chaos. So if it's a blowout like 17-5,
well, I would win that because you keep winning basketball games that end up being like 1 point, 2 points.
Well, then it's big for you because if we split and someone has a big game, you could get back. You could close a 10-point gap.
I like that idea.
So I think for baseball, softball, pure chaos, we should do that.
Math.
Yeah, just a little bit more math, but we could. I think we could pull it off. It'll be more chaos.
I like it, Ty. Always growing, always coming up with new ideas.
Yeah,
to make this segment better. I love it. Let's get to today's picks. Let's start with Waterloo going to Middle Ridge and trying to complete the undefeated MVAC regular season. Do you see Middle Ridge putting up a fight? And this is what they've played 4 games in 7 days. It's going to be their 4th game in 7 days because they just played Saturday. So a day break, and now they have to go back on the road to, like Coach Longenecker said, just like McDonald, Middle Ridge is starting to play a lot better in the second half of the season.
Their scores are getting a lot better, and it's a program that is indeed growing, and you're starting.
Coach Harrison's doing a great job down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always a tough place to play going down to Ram Country and trying to take one on the road. And
all that being said, I don't think anything's stopping Waterloo from getting this goal.
No, I don't think it is either. I think Waterloo already got goal number 1 out of the way, which was win the MVAC Scarlet. They got a share, then they wanted it outright because they don't like sharing, and they got that. Now they want to be never beaten in that conference. So they want to go in and take this win and say they went an undefeated slate in that MVAC side.
All right, Ty, what do you think about Wellsville hosting Latonia?
So with us both taking Waterloo, Wellsville hosting Latonia, and this is girls, boys, girls, girls. Wellsville's gotten more wins this year than they've gotten in the last 5. So I mean, it's been a great growth year for this program.
2015, yep.
Yeah. For me though, in this one, I'm gonna go with Latonia just because I've seen a little bit more. I like a little bit of the pieces that they got there, and I think Latonia has a solid chance to win a couple games in the tournament as well.
I'll take the Bears too. They're building momentum as going forward. Let's go with McDonald traveling to Southeast. Ty, I'll pick this one first. McDonald played so well on Saturday. I don't know if Lucy Wofford is going to be back or not.
That's a
I
big.
don't care. I'm not rocking against the banner. I'll take McDonald.
It's a big X factor. It's a nice game too for McDonald for a tune-up, especially going into Division 4. Yeah, Lucia Walford is back. She is a difference maker because I mean she was the one I think in that game at Waterloo that I remember her playing, and I think she scored like 8 points too. So she was still present in the box score. Yeah, you know what? With McDonald, the way they've been playing too, those girls have done a great job turning the season around. Coach Matizzi's doing a great job. Give me the Lady Blue Devils in this one.
We have Beaver Local hosting Edison. Ty, this is your first pick.
For me in this one, I really like this is girls, correct?
Girls, yep.
Yeah. I really like what Coach Smith's doing over there with Edison. I think they're having a good season, and you know what? I think they might even take one in the tournament. Give me the Lady Wildcats in this one.
I think this is the biggest toss-up of the night.
It is. It's a good matchup.
I got to get some point. I mean, I got to split with you at least once.
Got to go Beaver Local.
I'm going to go Beaver Local, rock the home team, get the Beavers the win.
Let's go, Edison. Let's go, Lady Cats.
We go from that to Badger going to Ashtabula St. John.
My first pick?
Girls again. Yep. It's my first pick. I'll take Badger. I won't rock against the banner.
Oh, he's going with the badge. Yeah, let me go with Badger too.
Let's see.
Speaking of Badger, great call by Matt Morrison on that alley-oop.
Oh, that alley-oop to open the game?
That was fantastic. Great call. Props to him, and great oop by Badger.
Clark Burnett putting it in.
Dog.
Talk about setting the tone.
Dog. Awesome.
Last girls game of the night, we have Laudonville. They're going to Newton Falls.
Yeah, give me Laudonville.
I hate to root against the
but that's one you gotta go with them though.
That's a tall task. That's a tall task. Now, a boys game, the only one happening tonight. It is Westwell, the only one that involving a YSN team that I know of. West Branch going to Minerva.
Yeah, give me the Warriors in this one. I think Warriors program looking really good this season. Coach Brown doing a great job. Just great basketball culture there. I got to go West Branch.
I'll take West Branch as well. I think West Branch will get the win tonight in boys basketball. And the odd boys basketball game on Monday night. And I believe they play tomorrow too, if I'm not mistaken.
All these snow days and everything, it throws everything out of whack. And we'll get 4 games in like 6 days. It's crazy. But
West Branch is at Hubbard tomorrow. So Minerva tonight at Hubbard tomorrow. 2 games, 2 days.
Little any competition before the tourney.
I think so.
Not bad.
So you look at it, and the regular season line said this is the last day of the regular season. Well, no, because tomorrow there's one game in the regular season for Jackson Milton. So I can't even say this is the last day of the regular season for girls basketball, because it's not. One more day.
Yeah, we got today and then we got tomorrow, but winding down last week for sure, opening up the last week of regular season for girls. And I mean, we're already in the tournament for Division 1 and the Division 2 through 4 now. It's going to start and it's going to hit the ground running, and we're going to see all kinds of teams start making their way too. Who's going to come out district champions? Are we going to have a YSN team? Hope so.
want to give this shout out because we got an update from Liberty Athletics. We thank them for the update on their bowling team. They had 2 individuals advance to the individual districts in bowling, as they have Paige Romaine in girls. She bowled and finished 5th out of 14 today. And then you had Joe Nora bowling and finishing 9th out of 14. He advances to districts in the individual round for bowling for the Leopards too. So bowling's starting to get going. I mean, the MVAC bowling championships are going to be on the 18th, which is, let's see, Thursday, right? I did my math right. That's Thursday.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, the MVAC bowling championship. So you're going to see all those teams. I'm looking at where it's at. I can't remember. It'll be at Skylane Bowling Alley in Wyndham, Garrettsville, Ohio. Teams will bowl 3 regular season games, 5 Baker games. The pinfall will determine the tournament champion. Rosters may include up to 6 bowlers. If you want to go with it, it's a normal ticket price. Adults are $7, students are $5, and you can buy tickets at the gate. So they will be selling tickets at the gate there. So February 18th, MVAC bowling tournament. And bowling, we try to talk about it as much as possible, but their season winding down too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're going to get into all these other seasons. They're going to be here before we know it. We're going to be in track and field, baseball, softball. So we're going to be getting into coverage of that very, very shortly. And then before you know it, it's going to be into the summer, and Brian's going to be back too. Oh, Brian. Get our golf guru Brian back on too. Always love seeing Brian Tonar on there. But speaking of which, big week this week. We got Wednesday too. Don't forget, well, first off, let me start off with tomorrow. Tomorrow we got the 4 senior interviews that we have to premiere from Louisville Lady Leopards too, and all great interviews, I must say, Anthony. And we both had a great time too, talking with them. Yeah, all different personalities, and they're all fantastic.
It's gonna be kind of like their send off, We hate that they had to lose, but that's the way you said earlier, that's the way basketball kind of crumbles sometimes.
It just is how it is sometimes. Wednesday, Gary Altizer is going to be on, and oh my goodness, we have so many things to talk about with the South Range program winning the state championship. So don't miss that Wednesday show. It should be good.
By the way, not to ignore the other results, Louisville finished 3rd in the D2 duels for state, and Beaver Local finished 6 out of 8. So both those 2 teams with good performances in their state bracket as well, up in Louisville on Saturday.
I mean, Beaver Local for a young team being 6, that's a solid year for that program. And Thursday too, we still might looks like we will have Josh Fitch appearing. We don't have a confirmed time yet, but it looks like we're going to still have him come on sometime. So WFMJ Josh Fitch going to come on to talk a little bit about this basketball tournament and how wild it's going to be.
We talked with Gary on Wednesday about this, and unlike every other tournament, this isn't the finality, so Louisville still has a lot to look forward to. Beaver Local still has a lot to look forward to. Even South Range still has stuff to work on, because now they'll finish regular season, and here comes sectionals and districts. And this is where the individuals start to get to go one-on-one against other wrestlers and get seeded. And now we can see individual champions. And Logan Hours is a favorite for Beaver Local. So he's going to be working hard to try to, get that state championship. I know the way last year ended is motivating him like crazy to get a state championship this year.
Yeah,
and has a lot of guys that are going to have chances. South Range too.
Gary says this is a fun time too, watching these single competitors go at it too, and you're going to see some of the best of the state, quite literally, go one-on-one, and that's always fun to see too. So these individual competitions are going to start, and it's going to get real fun, I think, especially for all the wrestling nuts in the area.
How about Graham, the winner of the D1 wrestling state championship? They dominated the first match so much that they just did not even they disqualified themselves from the heavyweight, because they just said, let's just save those wrestlers for the next 2, because they could afford it. Isn't that just insane?
What a deep program. What a program, though. Like, to have that many to be able to be like, nah, we'll get them at the next
pass. We'll be fine.
I'll save their energy. We don't want to. Give
We
it.
don't want it.
Give it to them.
Give it to them. Yeah, they won. Give them something to go back home to.
Wow. Cold-blooded.
Beaver Local finished 6th. And like I said, the last match for South Range, by the way, Calusi came in clutch. If you weren't watching, in that last, I think it was 38-36. South Range won against Milan. So that's going to be a lot to talk about on Wednesday for Gary, because it came down to one person, one match. South Range pulled it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait to talk about it Wednesday with Gary.
Second team state championship for South Range. And like we said at the top, a lot of their athletic programs are definitely on the rise.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what the Raiders can do for these other programs, as 2 state championships in team programs in the last, 4 years? That's something to be proud of for sure.
2 state champion in the last 5 years. They've had 2 state champions, and they've also had 3 other teams get to state championships. Because in 2016, boys soccer got there, softball got there, and then of course last season softball got there as well. So in the last 6 years, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 appearances in the state championship for South Range in 6 years. It's pretty good.
I mean,
that's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, nothing to complain about there.
Says the Michael Jordan struck. And I told you when I texted you that I got to coach on Wednesday, it's just an excuse for me to wear some burgundy and gold on Wednesday.
Yeah, I know. You're presenting it too. And I mean, exciting too. We always have state representatives. And I mean, just while we have a few minutes, just to talk about that too, since going even back all the way to last year, we had Springfield in the state championship last football. And JFK. Going into basketball, we had McDonald.
Yep.
Going into baseball,
we had JFK.
Yeah, we had JFK. We did it all. And then, of course,
we had South Range in softball last year too.
Of course, in summer it's Bob's scene, so we just cover all those teams. But then coming
I remember we had Youngstown go to the Pony League and win that.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it was a successful summer.
We
the Astro Falcons just kind of
right out of it this year. Ursuline gets into the state for football. Crestview gets into the state for soccer.
For soccer,
we go.
Basketball. It's your turn.
It's basketball's turn. We already had wrestling do it. Wrestling did it for winter, so someone
can do it again.
Represents
wrestling can do it again because we can get a lot of individual wrestlers into the state bracket as well.
How cool is that? What is that? 5 consecutive seasons now we've had, and probably even further back before that, we've had a state representative in a season.
Did we have one 2 baseballs ago?
Possibly. I can't remember. Well, 2 baseballs ago was that COVID season.
That would be the next one, right? Because we went back to Springfield's last football and JFK's last football.
Yeah.
So COVID knocked out that whole season, so that doesn't even count.
And it ended the basketball season before.
Right, but we had West Branch in the state semifinals, so we can.
They were there
before that. They got X. They were there, so we can include that one. And then before that year, was that the year that Gerard went to the state championship?
Might have been. I mean, we've had a lot of representation, and I mean, just having state championship representation.
Every football season, we've had someone get into that state tournament.
At least in one of the divisions, at least in one of them. And then
Owen got there, South Range got there, Gerard got there.
Soccer, there's
obviously Springfield
has a deep run too. Someone always makes it to the state semis. I think it's soccer. It feels like.
We got that mojo on YSN, man.
It's something, man. It's something.
It's the opposite of the Madden curse. We have the YSN mojo.
Yeah.
We're taking any credit at all for it, but
now we can just see if basketball can do it. But wrestling already did it, so we got to check in winter for someone. Did it in winter sports with South Range, going to state and winning it.
Basketball is the toughest. We're gonna see.
It is. We did have some representation last year, though. So we'll see if we can.
Remember, that was the first year of YSN that we had someone get to there in basketball.
Yep, should be interesting. And we have a great week for you, so be sure to tune in to always 12 to 2 here on Running Point.
Like we said, tomorrow we're going to have the Louisville senior recognition, and then we're going to play all their interviews. We'll also have picks, recaps, all the stuff that we usually do on Tuesday. Baird Brother winners, we'll talk about them and everything that we usually do on Tuesday. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3. Power Hour, a very good Power Hour with representatives from South Range Wrestling on at 3 to 3:30. And then from 3:30 to 4, Jeff Wilson will be on there to reflect on Fitch's basketball season as the Falcons you're continuing in on Saturday with the loss to Canton McKinley. And then we got three games that are at YSN schools tonight. Yeah, four actually, because Newton Falls School will be handling theirs. And then we have Waterloo at Middle Ridge and as well. So at least 2 games on the network. We're trying to get some other ones tonight. But then tomorrow back to a normal slate. We have, as of now, tomorrow we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 games on the network tomorrow.
Big nights too. Make sure you tune in.
Dog saying goodbye too.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the dog's name? We have to get the cameo.
Yeah, we got Rocket. He's making sure to let everyone know.
Rocket?
Yep.
Hi, Rocket. Aren't you a good boy? Can you hear me?
Probably not.
He's a good boy. We're going to take a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2, like always. Until then, have a wonderful evening, and